Everybody in the room, what's up? How y'all doing? Y'all all right? Oh, man, I know y'all can be a lot louder than that, man. I know y'all can be a lot louder than that. I'm not going to bring my guy out to no BS applause, man. We need that pop. So all over here, I know y'all yelling the other time. Let's try it again before we come out. How's everybody doing today? That's what I'm talking about. My name is Leon Rogers, 1075 WGCI. My brother from another mother back there with the mic, Brady from Kiss FM. Shout out to
Hello,
Phil in the
hello.
building. What's up? So look, we got a very special guest in here today, but like I said, we don't bring our guests out here in AT&T Lounge to no BS applause. So I need y'all to raise the roof off. I need y'all to give them that pop. Right now, the one and only WWE's own Mr. Burn It Down himself, Seth Rollins is in the building, man. Make some noise. Make some noise. He didn't believe it at first. Look. Seth, wait, Seth, what? My man right here didn't believe it at first. Everybody started clapping. He was like, he wasn't going.
He wasn't having it.
Yeah, till you literally came
You
out.
gotta
He
see
was like,
me in the flesh.
yeah.
I have arrived. Yes.
How you feeling, brother?
Good, man. How
First
are
of
you?
all, good to see you, man. How you doing?
Doing good, feeling good. Starting the weekend off right.
Yeah. Except for the Bears, I know we talked about it. We've been a little disappointed.
Just breaking my heart.
Why don't you go play quarterback, man?
You know, here the problem is they did so well last year that they gave me hope.
Yeah.
Hope is the worst thing.
Yes.
Because then you're just gonna be disappointed.
Yes.
Yeah. So hey, look, we can still win out.
And
Maybe make
wild
playoffs,
card.
Maybe, yeah.
I
The
don't-
NFC's tough though, so
Yeah,
we'll see.
very tough.
We'll
Sure.
see.
All right. Anyway, so we're here to talk wrestling. We're here to talk you. We're here to talk excitement, WWE. Let's just get right to it because I know there are a lot of questions out there
All right.
that the fans want to ask you. So my man Brady,
Yeah,
is
who's got
gonna
a
be
question?
floating around.
I know you guys wrote them down earlier. Where do we want to start? Did you write a question down earlier?
Yeah.
What's your question? What's your name?
Hamza. My name's Hamza. My question is, as a Bears fan, what's the answer at quarterback moving to the future?
I have a feeling I know where this is going today.
Look, I'm not Ryan Pace. I'm glad that's not my gig. You know what I'm saying? Here's the thing, and it's complicated, right? It's not all Trubisky. I'll say that right now. I'll put it out there. I'll take it off Mitch. It's not all Mitch. We got a lot of problems. The offensive line is rough. The running game's not doing anything. We had some injuries. So it's not all Mitch. Kicking game's still rough as well. I think let's see what the rest of this season looks like. He's got one more year on his rookie deal. Do we bring in somebody high-priced free agent? Cam Newton. Colin Kaepernick's out there.
Works.
Who knows if Alex Smith is healthy? He's familiar
good, too.
with
Yeah.
the
Nagy's offense.
Nagy system. So I don't know. Let's see what the rest of this year looks like. I don't know the answer. I'm glad I'm not in the GM shoes. Let's just say that.
Do you think Trubisky gets a lot of it, though, because of what the Bears gave up to move up to draft him?
Absolutely.
And that's unfair criticism. I
Yeah.
think that belongs to Pace for spending all those picks. But
100%.
Yeah.
And you know, he's in a draft class with Deshaun Watson and Pat Mahomes. So, of course, he's going to, you know, but that's the gig of an NFL quarterback. You want to be the guy in a major market like Chicago, you got to be able to take that. So, I don't know what the answer is. I hope he is the answer, but I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Love it. My guy, my man. Another question. What's your name?
Deontay, is Hill or Rollins coming back this year?
Heel Rollins? What's a heel? Look, man, I'm the same guy I've always been. If you want to love me, love me. I love you. If you want to hate me, hate me, please. Just make some noise out there, one way or the other. I don't care. In every market, in every town, in every city that I've gone to, they're making noise one way or another. So I'm doing something right.
no doubt.
Chicago definitely makes some noise for sure. You got a question?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Eddie. I wanted to know actually if when is actually the wedding with the man? Is that going to be on WrestleMania? Or
What a great
around there?
way to
Wait,
phrase that question.
When you
Listen,
word it like
with
that.
the man.
When's the wedding with the
Hey,
man?
look, somebody in here went,
No. Becky Lynch, the man. I don't know. We haven't set a date yet. We're not in any hurry, man. We got the rest of our lives to figure it out.
Awesome. We got a little guy question here, right?
Yeah, he's probably not going to ask it because he's super shy.
Oh, no. Don't be shy.
But what you're
Oh, yeah.
well, there we go. So Jackson's 4 years old, even though he doesn't look it. He's 4. He really wants to be a wrestler when he grows up, like more than anything. And he says you're his best friend.
Oh,
Ask me
all
why.
right.
So you're his
Hey,
best friend.
right on,
So
man.
what advice would you
BFFs.
give not him, but me as a parent, and how I can, help him get to his goal and help cultivate his dream.
Oh man, well, I think for me, I had a wonderful mother. She always told me I could be whatever I wanted to be. I could do whatever I set my mind to, but she always placed realistic goals in front of me as well. So she wasn't, she was tough on me, but she was fair. And so I think, obviously, as a teenager, we didn't get along. But as I grew up, I understood why she did what she did. And I wouldn't be anywhere without her support, but also her discipline and her structure. So I think and I'm not a parent, I'm not going to be one to tell you what to do, but I think it's about finding a balance. You want to encourage your kid to do everything they can in life. The possibilities are limitless, and without you, he's not going to get where he needs to be. But being able to hunker down on him and let him know that he needs to listen to his mom when the time's right, that's going to go a long way for him in the future as well. Yeah, all right. Well, if you set that precedent already, then you're good to go. I knew when my mom said my middle name, it was done.
Oh, wow.
That was the end of the argument right there. I was like, all right, okay.
And your middle name's Freakin', right?
Yeah.
Do you have a question?
That's hilarious.
Question, right?
Hey, what's going on? My name is Hank. He was talking about he wants to train for wrestling. You have your school, Black and Brave Academy. Any names that we should be looking for that's going to be coming through there?
Oh, man. You know what? The cool thing about my school is that we have people. So it's not. I started it because I wanted to give back to the Midwest wrestling community, because this is where I broke in, Midwest Independence. But we've gotten people from all over the globe, from Australia, the UK, any part of the United States, Canada, and stuff like that. And so there's so many people out there. There's a good kid named Travis Titan that I think is really good. Connor Braxton, who was one of my first students, has been at it for a minute. And we got Steve Manders is a guy that's getting out there doing his thing. He used to play football for the University of Iowa with George Kittle, who's 49ers tight end now. So we've got a ton of guys who've really been putting in the time, and it's just a matter of time before they get an opportunity to make the break.
Talk about the school, to elaborate on the school. Like, what is the environment there? Is it like a family, like a circus environment where everybody works together to, make sure everything's done? Like the dorm, the guys bunk up together?
Yeah.
Like, how what happens?
You kind of hit the nail on the head. I sort of got that whole thing going on, and it was really a surprise to me. I think when I started the school 5 years ago, my partner and I, Merrick Brave, we broke in AAW here in Berwyn, the Berwyn Eagles Club.
Berwyn.
Yeah, and we wanted to give back to the Midwest wrestling community, and it was a good opportunity to do that. What I didn't anticipate was that people would move here from all around the world. And when I say here, I mean Davenport, Iowa, not Chicago. All right, Davenport, Iowa, and that they would stay. A lot of them have stuck around, and so we've built a little community of guys and girls who just love wrestling. So when you move to Iowa and you train at my school, I have a couple of houses that I allow you to rent bunk beds in, and so you're immersed for 3 months at the very least. If it's your life, it's your life. If it's 3 months, it's 3 months. But you're there and you're immersed, and you've got a family, and you got people to help you out and pick you up if you're away from home. You got people who are going through the same thing. You've got myself and my co-trainers in a great facility that you can go to and work out at. I've got a coffee shop next door that we have a lot of our guys get jobs there while they're in there. So, I mean, it's a whole thing, and it's really cool to see the community aspect of it and just young people picking each other up and doing something positive.
Now, speaking of training, who's like one trainer that you recall kind of helped you along the way? Maybe somebody that we do know or somebody that we don't know.
Well, my trainer is Danny Daniels. He runs AAW, and if you don't know, AAW is a top-level independent promotion in the Chicagoland area. They run shows once, twice a month, and they're awesome. They bring in some of the best independent talent in the country, and so if you want to check something out, get a little bit of an alternative, AAW Pro, I think maybe, or AAW Wrestling, whatever it is, .com, you can search it. But they're awesome. Danny has been a veteran of the independent scene for years and years and years. He worked for a bunch of different independents around this area, and he's my wrestling daddy. He brought me into this business, for better or worse.
How about this row? You guys got any questions you want to ask? Now's the time to do
Shut
it.
down,
Now's the time.
No, not me.
All right. You want a question? Good. Anybody over here? You guys got questions?
There we go. So, I'm piggybacking off what he said when you're talking about training. What if you have, like, people like that, like to write angles and plots, how do they go about, presenting stuff to? Because everybody's not going to be a wrestler, and there's a lot to it.
Yeah,
There's a lot that goes on. You have storylines, you have character creation, content. Do the wrestlers come up with their own characters, or are there people that say, hey, I think you'd be great as this guy, and we're going to go this angle with you?
Yeah,
like,
so-
what about those people? Are there training grounds for them too?
So the only training ground that I'm aware of that is all encompassing is the WWE Performance Center. Independent wrestling, you got to do it all on your own. You're the writer, producer, director. You're the athlete, the entertainer. You're the manager. You're the hype man. You're everything. And so when you break in, it's your responsibility to get yourself where you need to be and create a following. If you're interested in doing creative stuff, I don't know how to apply for that when it comes to the WWE Performance Center, but they do look at people who've cut their teeth in different areas on the independent scene and bring them in for specific jobs like that. And a lot of times it's just people who want to be wrestlers or referees, and they end up falling into those positions because they love the business so much.
Yeah, because I always looked at people like like Bobby Heenan. Like I always liked those guys. Bobby Heenan, Jimmy Hart. The Mouth of the South. I always liked people like them because they had to have flair on the mic, but they were somebody's manager. Teddy, Teddy Long, and all those guys.
And so they all started just wanting to be around the business. So what they would do is just go to local shows. I mean, obviously the business is a little different than it was when Bobby the Brain Heenan broke in or Teddy Long, but they would just go to shows and network and make friends with the wrestlers, and then they would find their way in. And so, Heenan wrestled a little bit before, but his niche was talking. And so he was able to help other people who didn't know how to talk as well, but had the athletic side of it down. So if it's something you love, you're going to be around it, I think, enough, and you just got to network, man. You can't be afraid to make relationships and have conversations and put yourself out there. Just let them know what you want to do. Let people know that you're interested in being creative or that you want to be a part of the show, whatever it is. Maybe you want to set up a ring, maybe you want to hold a camera, maybe you want to be a referee. You never know. Right place, right time, opportunities. Look, you can't swing the bat if you don't step up to the plate.
I love it. We got one more question here before I want to talk about the character thing, though. Would Seth Rollins have been able to get over the Red Rooster character? That's an old school question right there. Two people in this room, Leon being one of them, knows what I'm talking about. Could you have done that?
I like to think that I could get anything over.
That's what I'm talking about.
But look, I'll tell you what. I've butted heads with Terry Taylor, who played the Red Rooster many times over my career. But I'll tell you what, when Terry came to WWF back in whatever year that was, he was a top-level independent worker. He was very good at wrestling, and even he couldn't make it work.
Man,
and so I don't know. Luckily, I don't think I'll ever have to deal with that.
I don't think so. No. All right. Last question.
All right. Hey, two-part question.
Oh, two-parter.
Yeah. So, one, how did it feel returning to NXT on Wednesday? And also, on a scale of 1 to 10, how did it feel super kicking Adam Cole?
Oh, well, when you land a good super kick, there's nothing like it. So I'll throw that right at a 10, since you gave me a number scale. And as far as going back to NXT, it's always special for me, It's been 7 years since I had a match there. And to see what it has become since I left first NXT champ is just incredible to see where the brand has grown and to see the type of talent that's come in there. I feel almost like a proud older brother in a way when I go back there and I see those guys and girls and what they've turned that place into, because it's just totally different now, and it's cool to know how much I scratched and clawed just to get an inch there, and now to see what it's become. I feel like maybe I helped out a little bit. Maybe I did.
One of the foundations.
Maybe I did, yeah. So it's cool, man. It's a nice feeling.
I don't know if anybody ever asked you this before. If there's anybody you've ever gotten in the ring with that kind of scared you, like I was watching this documentary on the Road Warriors, and there was some people was like, yo, like, we really didn't like getting in the ring with these dudes because they was just like super badass, and they could hurt you if they wanted to, like, you know what I'm saying? Is there anybody, or like a King Tonga, like, like the Samoan SWAT team, a lot of people were like scared to get in the ring with these guys. Is there anybody you ever got in the ring with and be like, hey, let's, hey, all right?
Well, there's two people that come to mind, not because of their mental state, but because of just their sheer power.
Okay.
And when they grab you, you realize, oh yeah. And one of them is Brock Lesnar.
Brock, wow.
Brock is one of the physically the most gifted individual I've ever met from athletic. There's, a man of that stature should not be able to be as fast and as durable as he is. He is so strong and so quick. It is terrifying. The other one is actually the Big Show.
Really?
The Big Show, who is the kindest, gentlest, sorry, Show, I'm ruining your whole thing. But he is the kindest, gentlest, sweetest man in the world. But when he grabs you, I mean, his hands are like frying pans, man. His fingers are just so thick. And when he grabs you and picks you up, it's with such ease that you feel like a small child. Like, I feel like I'm this kid's size, you know? I'm like, oh, I thought I was a full-grown human being.
Sheesh.
Nope. Guess not. Yeah. So those two. Strowman's one too, but I never like to say that about him.
All right.
We got to keep a thumb on him.
All right.
His ego's too big as it is.
Wow. So amazingly, man, all your time that you spend on the road, what are some of the brighter moments for you? You know, for me, I love it when you guys go over with the troops.
Oh yeah.
Being a former U.S. Army member, like, we never got to see anything like that. We were over there, so that you guys go to the troops and stuff now, I think that's great. What are some of the things that move you in the WWE, some causes that the WWE takes up that you're a part of that actually, you know, you sit down and be like, man, that, you know, that's why I do this. Like, this is why I do it.
Well, we do a couple of things. First of all, thank you for your service. That's one of them. We have tribute for the troops coming up, which we've done now for a dozen years or something like that, and that's always a special day for us to go back and just say thank you for defending our freedom and letting us do what we get to do on a daily basis. The other one is we've had a partnership with Make-A-Wish for a really, really long time. To be able to be a wish for some sick kids wherever they're at in their journey in life is really incredible, and it puts a lot of what we do in perspective. And I think the last thing for me is just the ability to go to these live events in different parts of the world, and regardless of the color of people's skin, what they believe in, their orientation, their gender, whatever it is, we get to go to these different places in the world, and we get to affect people, you know. When I was 4 years old, I was inspired to pursue my dream that I didn't even know I had by people who were in my position that I'm in now, and the fact that I get to go to all corners of the world and maybe change somebody's life, change a kid's life, just by a high five or a smile or a look or even just a night at the matches. That to me is the most humbling thing, and that's the thing that keeps me going. No matter how hard the schedule is, no matter how beat up I am, I always look forward to that experience.
Will we see Seth Rollins make the transition in the movies, leading man, hunk for the ladies on the big screen? I mean, we've seen Dwayne Johnson do it to a high level. We see John Cena with his part in the movies. I mean, even The Miz, shout out to The Miz. He does his thing. Will we see Seth Rollins? Seth Rollins is. Diving through a window?
Man. I don't know. I don't know if that's my thing or not.
You wouldn't want to hear that, though? Seth Rollins.
I don't know, man.
They did him wrong.
They're so, Dwayne and John are so uber talented. I mean, maybe, you know what I mean? Batista. I'd be more like a Batista,
okay.
kind of just sneak in there when you're not expecting it, Like, oh, there he is in Guardians of the Galaxy. How awesome was he? That'd be me. Just like kick me into a Marvel movie and like, oh, that guy, he was great. Yeah.
Checks for the rest of your life in the Marvel
I don't know if I'm doing Jumanji or like jumping off skyscrapers.
Seth Rollins in Mario Kart.
Well, hey, actually, all right. If we're gonna make a Mario Kart live action, count me in.
Anybody else? We got anybody else? Any other questions out there?
You guys good in the front here?
Nope. Yep.
Hug it.
I mean, I know you were talking about movies. I was
Go
gonna ask,
ahead.
if you could be a superhero, I mean, I know you already are, right? But if you want to be a superhero, what should be your superpower, and what would be your name?
Oh man, I don't know. I'd always wanted to fly. That was my thing. If I could do anything, I'd fly. Just take off, go like Superman. You know what I mean? I don't know what my name would be. I got a bunch of names now: Architect,
Right.
Beast Slayer, King Slayer.
Cool. I always thought that was the dopest one.
Yeah.
What
Who knows?
In the WWE, who are some people that you look at and the stuff that you see them do in the ring is like amazing as far as their agility and athletic ability?
I watched, so I went out on Monday and had what I thought was a really nice match with Andrade, who I think is a super talented young talent. And then 2 seconds later, I'm feeling all good about myself, and then I turn over and look at the monitor, and Buddy Murphy and Tozawa are having this
Crazy.
just crazy match, and I'm like, why? What is? How? Come on! Why does anybody want to watch me wrestle anymore? You know what I'm saying? I watch Ricochet, and I'm like, I can't. Cedric Alexander, these guys. I go down to NXT, and I see, you know, the Undisputed Era guys, or just it's just crazy the level of athleticism that these guys have taken it to. I'm like, I fancied myself as an athlete once upon a time, and now I feel like I'm all kicking and punching, you know?
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, that's me, man. I'm like, this is my porch.
How far do you push yourself? Because we've seen in the WWE some crazy, like the Hardy Boys, like taking it to the next level extreme. Well, Mick Foley being thrown off the top of a cage through a table. Like, how far will Seth Rollins go to get a pop?
I mean, I've gone pretty far, man.
Yeah.
I've done some weird things, right?
Some strange for some change.
I've fallen off that Hell in a Cell myself a couple times. My first match 7 years ago with the Shield against Ryback and Team Hell No, I got yanked off the top of a ladder through a bunch of tables. Hell, I'm out there wrestling in the red light with the Fiend doing weird stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, whatever it takes, I guess is the answer. Whatever it takes.
Definitely.
Oh, he's back.
He's back.
Here we go.
There we go.
How did it feel fighting Humberto Carrillo on his first match?
Oh, it was great. Humberto's awesome. There's another one we talked about talent who's just out there doing everything, and you know, he's just a young pup. You know, I think he's 23 years old, so he's 10 years younger than me, and he's so good. He's so much better than I was at that age, and I'm jealous, and I wish I could have done the things he does at his age. But man, it was awesome. It's good to be out there and be in that position. I remember being a young, hungry 23-year-old kid with, you know, everything to prove, and so I just feel like I'm in a different headspace now, and it's cool to be out there and to play the other side of things a little bit.
Yeah, I want to ask a question about the Chicago guy. His name's Phil. We'll call him Phil. Yeah, good old Phil. Where were you when you pressed send, when you hit the tweet button? Where exactly? I think it was a 2-word tweet, and it said "fight me."
Fight me.
And then it was at
Phil.
At Phil. Where do you remember, like, where you were? Were you hesitant? Were you like, this is gonna cause something?
Oh no, I knew it was gonna cause something.
That's why you did it, man.
Yeah. Isn't that what social media is for,
Yes.
right?
Create havoc.
Yeah, that's what it's for. I don't remember where I was at. When did he? I mean, I must have been sitting in my house or something like that. I don't know. I was like, nobody else is gonna say it, you know, so I'll say it. Right? Fight me, kid. Let's go.
I love it.
Yeah.
Dude, have you what about that situation? Because, you know, you get the drunk guy, you know, and you guys used to come down through the audience. Like, how many times have you had to, like, stop and say, look, dude, like, don't make me put my fist through your head. Like,
man.
be cool. Like, how many times you get the tough guy? You know, I work out, bro. You work out, bro?
Yeah,
you know,
we
want
get that
to test it.
the one through the crowd all the time. When we used to, surprisingly enough, this always blew my mind. Surprisingly enough, Roman got the most problems, and I'm like,
Really, the biggest dude in the
he is the
clique.
largest one. Why would you go to him? Pick on me or Dean? Like,
It was the hair.
yeah,
It was
maybe
like, his head too pretty. Let's try it.
I don't know, man. Yeah, maybe he's too pretty. They were just like, we're gonna take him out, but it's not gonna happen.
Did you ever have to stop females from, like, you know, you walking through like, hey,
Yeah,
Seth? You're like, yo, baby, hey.
That one, I never had anything inappropriate, but they were
Okay.
some grabbers. We had some women. We had some women jump the rail a couple times to try to get in the ring. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, live events and television. They get crazy out there, man.
I bet
they
you
get
they
wild.
want-
A couple drinks in them, can't hold them back either.
They don't want no smoke with Becky. They want
yeah. I haven't had. I say recently, I haven't had no issues with that. So she's taking that right off my hands. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, babe.
We got Neurotic with a question.
DJ Neurotic.
So, who would you like to face on the NXT roster, and why is it Ciampa?
Yeah, well, I already, you know, had Adam Cole, so give me Ciampa. Why not, man? I think that's one that it's one of those matches that I don't think anybody even really knew they wanted until they saw NXT on Sunday on yesterday, and they were like, oh,
Let's make it
yes,
happen.
yes, I did want that match. So I think we'll get to it at some point. Our paths have never crossed either, so it's very it feels new, it feels fresh and unique, and you know, he's a hell of a talent. So I think we'd have a barn burner.
Them three dudes right there, I feel like anytime they ask a question, him, and him, they should be like, I'm so and so and so from Pro Wrestling Weekly, because their questions was like in depth. Like they rehearsed those in the
They got
mirror.
as Meltzer in disguise. You hiding him in that vest?
See?
Yeah.
Is there anyone from outside of the WWE that you want to face?
Kenny Omega.
Yeah, that
Come
would be
on,
explosive.
That's the one,
That'd be
man.
crazy.
That's the one. I don't know if we'll ever get to that one, but yeah, Kenny would be good.
This isn't a question, but for the photo section of the meet and greet, I'm gonna need you to comment on my Game of Thrones shoes, okay?
Oh. Well, you could have just left it. I might have just noticed them. It would have been organic. Now you forced it.
That felt forced, yeah.
Don't make me do it.
Yeah, you ruined it.
Shame. So I like the question. You said Kenny Omega. Other than him, if you go back throughout the history of wrestling, period, what would be a great Seth Rollins match against anybody out of the history of wrestling, period? Like, give me like three.
Oh man, I mean, number one, Shawn Michaels, because he's my favorite. So I'd love to get in there with him. Man, I would have loved to have worked with Ric Flair in his prime. He's.
You would have made a good horseman, man.
I would.
Yeah.
I would have. He always tells me I'm too pretty to be a babyface.
Right.
He says the people are gonna hate me.
Right.
So I would have loved to have teamed with him or wrestled him. And then, man, it would have been nice to do like a Fabulous Freebirds versus the Shields. You know what I mean? It's like Shield
Terry
Freebirds.
Bam
yeah.
Gordy.
Yeah, Michael Hayes. That would have
Michael
been
Hayes.
that's some fantasy warfare stuff right there. That would have been a good one to have.
That would have been good. That would have been good. Anybody else, B?
I guess this is more.
Do it the right way, man. Give your name.
Hank from Busted Open. I'm just kidding. I'm not at all. But LaGreca is waiting on a call from you. Anyway, my question / request is one of my favorites of all time is Dusty Rhodes.
Not then we're going to get funky like a monkey, baby.
Oh.
Yes, sir. That's what I
Love
say. Do
Big
you
Dust.
have a Dusty Rhodes impression? And what was the best advice he ever gave you?
Oh, baby, the best advice that Dream ever gave me. He's the baby Seth Rollins. Just be yourself, baby.
If you will. I love Dusty, man. This was the man, G. That's good Dusty Rhodes, bro.
Spent a lot of time around
That's
Dusty.
good.
Dusty was awesome. One of my favorites.
They said he was like one of the father figures in the locker room that kind of like, you know, would be a shoulder for people to lean on and, you know, would talk about everything other than wrestling sometimes.
When
just how you
I
was a person.
got down to WWE developmental 9 years ago, 9 years ago, it was a different dude. And Triple H wasn't involved. It wasn't NXT. It was 2 rings in a warehouse in Tampa, Florida. It was 1,000 degrees. We were the redheaded stepchild. We weren't NXT. We were Florida Championship Wrestling. We didn't have a WWE network. No one cared about us. And Dusty was the one guy that made me feel like I said, his advice was to be yourself. And so when, you know, I was being told that I needed to change if I wanted to get where I wanted to be, he was the one guy who was like, nah, don't listen to these fools. He's like, do you, and you'll be all right. This is what got you here.
Was there any hard asses like, you know, now that you look back, like he was a hard ass, but it actually worked for the better of me as far as training wise? Was there anybody that just pushed you to the limit to the point where you wanted to fight them, but at the end of the day, now because who you are and what you've done, you realize why they did it because they saw the potential in you?
Yeah, I don't see. I don't know if I realized that's why they did it, but Terry Taylor was a good example of that because he was a guy when he came down to NXT, he was very hard-headed and he was very resistant to change as far as what style of wrestling was going to look like. Mind you, Terry wanted me to sit in a headlock for 10 minutes, and I'm like, Terry, it's not 1982 anymore.
Right.
You gotta watch the product. You understand where we're going here. And we butted heads pretty hard, but I learned a lot from that relationship, from the negativity of us just constantly being at odds. I think we both learned a lot, but I learned a lot about how to navigate that side of the wrestling business. Okay. And that was a valuable lesson for me before I came up to WWE, because once I got up here, especially when I broke in, it was a lot more cutthroat than it is now. Well, it was drifting out of that. It was drifting out of that era where everybody was trying to backstab everybody, but still, there were still some guys who were holding on to that, and so it helped me sort of navigate the political landscape, so to speak.
So, big grown tough wrestlers had soap opera stuff going on
Hey
behind
man,
the scenes.
yeah. It
Really?
never changes.
Wow.
Not, it never. I feel like than it was when I got in, and especially 5 years before I broke in. But yeah, I mean, everybody still. It's Game of Thrones, man. Everybody wants that Iron Throne.
I always, and this, you might hit me upside my head for asking you this question, but like, what about the poop factor in wrestling? Like, what if you had a bad lunch and you just out there and the luchador come and go for the hurricane and he like, and you like, hey man, not on my chin while you doing this move. Like, do you try to hurry up and get the match over? Say like if you got the bubble guts or something, you be like, hey, we gotta make this quick so I can get back.
I mean, if you got to fill 2 segments of TV, you got to fill 2 segments of live TV, whether you got the bubble guts or not. You got to hold it in.
So you
all
put
right?
the depends on
You
and go
gotta
out your
hold it
shorts a
in.
little chunkier.
I mean, I've gone out there with food poisoning. I've never had the poop factor, as you call it. I've never had problems with that. I know there's been some guys,
Yeah.
some gentlemen who've had some issues with
Yeah, it's
that in the
gotta be.
past. You know, you have a bad tour, you eat something wrong, you take some. Who knows what the issues are? But yeah, luckily for me, knock on wood, I only have to deal with the poop factor in the gym.
Okay,
So
cool.
over squatting, you know.
I always thought about that, like, you know, like, man, you get out there and it's just, well, you still got 10 minutes
You
left in
gotta
this
go-
Iron Man match.
Yeah, you gotta figure it out, man. That's on you.
No, it's gonna be on everybody if you hit me in my stomach again. So I'm trying to help us
Yeah,
out.
no,
I never
no.
always thought about that.
Yeah, it's less of a problem than you would think.
I've noticed wrestling. I think you guys make a concerted effort to stay conscious about what's going on in society. I notice a lot of the male-female matches now, like they don't do them as much as they used to. Like you guys had the little tournament, and then it'll cool off for a while. Is that direct correlation of a lot of stuff that's going on out here today, and you just don't want to? They don't want to present that image in the WWE, like it's okay for guys to toss girls around,
exactly.
and girls to toss guys around.
Yeah, I think it's a tricky situation, right? I think we stepped away from it for a long time, almost just didn't touch it. Recently, it's come back a little bit, and I think there's a bit of a precedent set where now, you know, the girls can they can do some stuff to the guys here and there. You saw, I think at Extreme Rules in Philadelphia, I had a mixed tag match with Becky and I against Lacey and Baron Corbin, and you saw Baron Corbin hit a move on Becky, which just never happens anymore. And so, you know, we're starting to dip our toe in that water. We had Nia Jackson in the Men's Royal Rumble this past year, and so I think it's a very touchy subject, and what we don't want to happen is for us to try to do something fun and interesting and different, and then the media spin it on us, and so it's a risk reward thing. It's like how much is too much, and in today's political climate, I don't know the answer to that question. Luckily, I don't have to find out.
Right.
Yeah, that's not on me.
All right. One last one before we get out of here, B.
We got one right in
wait,
front.
my guy right
here. Here we go. Here it comes.
All right.
Here we go.
My man.
What's your name?
Rodrigo.
Okay, Rodrigo, go.
When is the Shield gonna reunite again?
Question. Good question.
You know, I don't know, man. Myself and Roman, yeah, we'll do a little Shield reunite right here. But myself and Roman, we're holding it down here on Raw and SmackDown. Ambrose is doing his own thing, and so
that was the color TV version right there. It's the color TV version, the UPN 50 version right here. The new sitcom, The Shield.
Yeah.
He's a cop. He's a convict. Which one? You be the convict, though. I be the cop. The new Shield.
Not in 2019.
On UPN Power 50.
So I'll be the convict.
Right.
It's to answer your question, buddy, I don't know. We wish Dean the best, and we hope that he's doing well. But one day we'll get that Shield Hall of Fame induction, and we'll see what happens. So
give it up for Seth Rollins one more time. Thank
Thanks
you,
so much.
brother, for coming out and hanging out with us, man.